And if you have a family member, maybe a parent or a grandparent, aunt, uncle, or even a very close friend, and maybe, or you're even at the age where perhaps one of your siblings may be suffering from the effects of old age, and by means especially Alzheimer's, which is whether it's become more prominent just because it seems like there are more out there, or it's becoming diagnosed earlier and earlier. Here to talk about some of the services available for Alzheimer's patients and also an upcoming walk, Rick Ferrante, president of Home Care Services. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, George?
I'm great. This has become, over the past probably few decades, a lot more prevalent. Now, I don't know if it's, like I said, from the science, or whether or not it's being diagnosed earlier, whether it's the fact that we're now, the baby boom generation is turned into senior citizens, but that is become at the forefront in a lot of cases of senior care and senior care specialization. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously there's going to be many factors. And yes, there's a lot more people getting a lot older with baby boomers, et cetera. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're understanding what this is. So it's, a lot of times people look at a senior, somebody, a loved one, whatever it is, and say, okay, somebody's having issues with memory or some challenges, and that's what happens when you get old. And what we're finding is that's not the case. Alzheimer's is a disease. It's not something that just happens when you get old and happens to everybody when they get old. It's an actual disease, and something that we need to work on finding a cure for. The sort of natural, forgetful things, just like me and you do, yeah, that's normal, right? I forgot my keys this morning. But when you forget what the keys are for, that's not natural. That's not normal, a natural part of aging. That is a disease. That's Alzheimer's, and it's something that we've got to work to find a cure. And so what's happening is, yes, there's more recognition that this isn't a natural, normal part of aging. This is a disease, and it's something that that we need to work with. At Home Care Services, we just deal with this every day. So there's a connection there. That's something kind of close to our hearts because we see it just all the time. So that's why we've been working with and together with Alzheimer's Association and others to try to do a lot of things. Sort of the mandate and the mission for the Alzheimer's Association is to research, to find a cure, fundraise for that research. But then there's also advocacy, right? So you're making people aware, especially local leaders and federal and state leaders, et cetera. Education, just explaining to people just what we just talked about, what's going on here. And then support. So there are a lot of people out there, and you probably know somebody. This degrees of separation for somebody that knows somebody helping somebody with Alzheimer's is very, very small, I think. And so we all kind of know some situation like that. And so Alzheimer's Association, Home Care Services, and other agencies trying to find ways to support people that have that challenge. Exactly, and people going through that where they are taking care of someone who is suffering from Alzheimer's, the stress level can be very high. So when you talked about support, I think it's a very important thing that Home Care Services is a place where people undergoing that can go to for help, for information, or even find out how perhaps to get some relief from that. And you're right about that. It's not just necessarily an old age disease, because it can affect people, at least as far as I know, as early as their 40s in some cases. Yeah. So even approaching middle age, it just depends. So you are right. But there is an event coming up this weekend that is actually raising funds. Am I right? Right. So obviously one of the things that Alzheimer's Association does is fundraise and for research and everything else that they do. So this Sunday, so this is the 20th, this Sunday at Bridgeport Park is our Walk to End Alzheimer's. And I know it's coming up quick, so I want to make sure I get the word out there for those who maybe have delayed and kind of heard about it but didn't necessarily pull the trigger. But it's not too late to either form a team, get out there and do a walk and fundraise and bring some of that both financial support as well as awareness, or just come out yourself and either join on what a team or register yourself to walk. So it's again Sunday the 20th at Bridgeport Park. The registration is at 7 a.m. Nice and early before the heat, because I heard you said it was getting in the upper 90s there.
It might be a little warm later on in the day.
A little
but mornings
later.
are good. Mornings
Yeah,
are
it'll
good.
be nice and pleasant. So 7 a.m. is registration. 8:30 is opening ceremonies, and 9 o'clock is when the walk starts.
Outstanding. Can they learn more at homecaresantaclarita.com?
Absolutely.
And also, to be clear, though, aside from Alzheimer's, you actually are advocates and also provide support, information, and services for seniors of all walks of life.
Actually, anyone that needs assistance in their home. So obviously, Alzheimer's is one of those things where people need some help, but there's all kinds of things that people do. So if someone, you or a loved one needs assistance in your home, give us a call and we can help in all kinds of ways.
And that call at number 800-808-4777. Information at homecaresantaclarita.com. Rick, always a pleasure to talk to you. This is enlightening information that you have. And don't forget the Walk to End Alzheimer's this Sunday morning, Bridgeport Park. Register and be a part of it. Thanks so much for stopping by.
All right. Thanks for having me.